everyone, it's Ayana from the Crafty Notary. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be talking about my very first loan signing, and yeah, we'll get right into it. So I've been away for almost about a week, and please forgive me, but I invested in the loan signing systems, and so I was just finishing that up this weekend when I got my very first signing, and I will be uploading a review of what I think about that particular course for everyone coming soon. So let's talk about this loan signing. So I got my first loan signing last week, and on a Friday, and it was at 6:30 at night. So I got the text message, and for those of you who are new to this industry, you sign up. Once you become certified as a loan signing agent, you sign up with signing services. The way that those services work is that they collect a database of notaries that are mobile and certified to do loan signings. Once they get a loan signing or a signing from their clients, which are title companies or escrow companies, then they look for a notary who is geographically close and available to go out and do that signing. Typically what happens is an email or a text message blast goes out, and it's first come, first serve. And if a couple of people or a few notaries click on the signing as accepted, then that escrow agent or title agent has the ability to see their entire resume and select one of the notaries based upon their current work, their previous work, whether or not they've worked with that title company before, whether or not they have errors. And so it's really important to build a good reputation in this business, because a lot of these companies are sharing information, and if you're blackballed in one, you be blackballed more than likely in others. And the reverse is true as well. So if you do a really good job for one loan signing company, that information will be reflected, and you're more likely to get loan signings because they see your work is there. And I also wanted to say, before we get into my signing, I also want to put this out as well. This is a race, not a race, it's a marathon, meaning that there's a lot of stuff out there that talks about becoming a six-figure agent and making a lot of money, making $10,000 a month, and yada, yada, yada. I've seen and I've heard that in many industries, especially in real estate. They talk the same talk in the real estate industry as well when you become an agent. However, what they don't talk about is the startup and the build up to that, and the amount of work that you need to put in order to get there. This is not something that you sign up for. You sign up for a few loan signing companies and boom, you're getting $10,000 months and you're becoming a six-figure loan signing agent. How that happens is you put in the work to learn your craft, to do it well, and to remain consistent. So all of those things go into that. So I don't want anyone to think that by taking any signings that are less than the industry standard, that you are hurting yourself or that you're selling yourself short, because you simply need the experience. You need to build your resume in order to have the ability to combat back or negotiate back at the full price for some of these signings, which could be anywhere between 100, 125, 175, whatever have you, depending on your location and what your personal rates are. It is personal to you and your business. However, like I said, don't feel bad for taking anything less than what the industry standard says, because in my own opinion, having the experience or getting the experience and getting your reputation built is much more valuable than trying to get the money up front. It will come. And if anyone comes for me in the comments relating to that particular comment, you're probably an experienced agent And if you took those signings in the very, very beginning at full price, bravo, my hat's off to you. But everybody is not as fortunate, and every situation doesn't happen the same way every single time. In fact, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups where I've seen this come out and seen people berate other agents or beat them over the head for taking less than the industry standard. And you have to also understand this. The loan signing services, the signing services are providing a service to the escrow company. So they take a cut on that money as well. So if they're charging $125, of course, they're not going to pay you $125. They could, but they're cutting into whatever their profit is. And typically we can see what they're charging on the settlement statement. And sometimes it's a lot. But you also have to factor in the fact that they're paying employees. They have all of their processes and procedures built into that amount. And so what they build in to pay the mobile notary or the loan signing agent is what they build in to pay. And so not to say that they can't pay more, but you want to keep in mind that they are also paying these loan signing services a fee in order to do business, in order to find a notary for them. So in a future video, we'll talk about finding direct work because it's a little bit more lucrative and it helps everybody on on both sides of the coin. But when you're just starting out and you haven't gotten there, nothing wrong with signing up for the signing services. But I just wanted to put that information out there. Okay. Let's see. So going back to my very first signing, I got the documents downloaded. I got everything at 6:30. Let's go back there. And the appointment was for 7. Right. I needed to print out the documents, 2 copies of the documents. I wanted to review them thoroughly to make sure that I understood where I needed to notarize. I wanted to make sure that nothing was cut off. I wanted to make sure that everything printed out properly. There were like no black lines or no smears or smudges or things like that. And I also wanted to get a general idea of where the signings would be, like where the signature lines were. Because there are some documents that their signature line is at the top or the signature line is in the middle of the page. And so I wanted to lay eyes on every page before I got to the signer's home so that I had an idea of what that document looked like. And to make sure that, like I said, that nothing was cut off and everything was in good order. So I gathered everything, got all of my all of my pens. I brought both black and blue. It did not specify in the email or the notes from the loan signing service. However, the lady called me while I was on the way and told me to sign in black. So I had pens for both colors, and I have my stamp, of course, and my journal, and I'm off, right? So I get there, I do the signing. It took me just about 2 hours. I'm sure as time goes on, I'll get a little bit quicker once I have a system of how I say things for certain documents, how I go over them each time. And in this case, there were 2 signers, and I wanted to make sure that they both understood what they were signing, right? And they had some questions. So that also factored into the time portion of things. But once I got done, I got out of there, I got back to my office, I scanned everything in and got it uploaded. And then I had to wait to the next business day for a review by the title company before they provided me with the label for FedEx. So with that all being said, let me get into the list of things that I think you need to know before you go on your very first signing. First of all, before you get any signings, before you accept any signings, you want to make sure you know how your printer works. And I don't just mean by clicking print and printing a document. What I mean is that a lot of loan packages are in both letter and legal sized paper. And I've seen some people get a package and they print it out to test this out. I don't think you need a full package. You probably just need a few sheets that are both legal and letter, so that you can test your settings on your in your print dialog. Now, these settings are more than likely not in your printer. If you do not have a dual tray printer and you have a beginner printer, that's perfectly fine. There's a couple of software websites that you can go to. One, I think, is called Page Separator. You pay a fee for that particular one. But then there's another one called Notary Rotary, and they have a page separator that is completely free. You download the document there. It separates it into two files, one letter, one legal, and then it gives you a little map of how to separate each, how to put them back in order. That's what I mean to say. So it'll say 39 pages of letter and then 1 page of legal. And you'll understand that when you see it. I didn't get it until I first saw it and worked on it, but you want to make sure you're familiar with that as well if you need it. If you have a dual tray printer, perfect. You're ready to go. You're set up. But I didn't get a dual tray printer because I actually have a LaserJet printer already. I have an OfficeJet all-in-one with a scanner, but what I didn't have was a type of scanner where you can feed documents in. And you don't want to be scanning documents in public. You don't want to use FedEx stores. You don't want to use UPS stores. You don't want to use a library or anything like that. You want to bring the documents back to your home office or to your office and scan them in on a secure network. So I got a printer that was both laser and had the scanning feed feature. So with that said, when you download the document, I use Google Chrome. I don't use Internet Explorer, so I cannot speak to Internet Explorer. I exclusively use Google Chrome and have been for years. When you download a document in Google Chrome, you get the little bar at the bottom and it has your file there at the bottom. When you click to open that document, it generally will open your document in Google Chrome in another tab. If you click Print in Google Chrome, there is no option for you to print according to PDF size. There is an option for you to print to paper size, which is what I use, and all of my documents came out in letter, okay? It wasn't an issue in the long run. However, I was questioned on whether or not all of my pages were correct and none of the pages were cut off, because they knew that there were documents in that package that should have been on legal sized paper. Okay? So, in order to get around that, you can use the Notary Rotary page separator. Or if you have a printer where you have a manual feed like mine does, what you can do is start printing, and when it gets to a page that is for legal, it will stop and ask for a legal size sheet of paper before it proceeds to the next page. But in order to get your printer to do that, what you need to do is go to your download folder on your computer, find that document, open the document, and when you open it from there, it should open in Adobe Acrobat or Adobe Reader, Acrobat Reader. It will open in the Adobe software. From there, when you click the print button and the box comes up, the dialog box comes up to print, there's a tiny box that says print by PDF page size. If you check that box, it will tell your printer to print each document based on the size of the paper. Okay? So that's very important, and you want to practice that with your particular printer because each printer will be different. I have a brother. Each one will be different. You want to make sure you know how that works. All right? That's the first thing. The second thing is you want to make sure when you scan your documents back in, more than likely you cannot scan 150, 200 pages at one time. And you will have to break the package into smaller bits to feed it through. What you want to make sure is that when your scanner is transmitting to your computer, that it's leaving the file open for you to add more pages. If it closes out your file, you're going to end up with 3 individual files that you now have to find software to merge them together. There is software out there called smallpdf.com. Thank me later. It's used to be free. I think it still is free. It may not be free. I don't know. Or if you pay for Adobe Acrobat Pro, you can merge or combine documents that way. But if you don't have that, you don't have the luxury to pay for that, just make sure you check the setting on your printer. The way that I did it on my particular scanner, is I scanned using the scanner utility from the computer. The computer told the scanner, we're going to scan now. It started scanning. The computer held it open, and there was a little button that says add more files or add more pages. And I kept clicking that and scanning more pages until I had them all in. The next thing you want to make sure is when you go to save that file as a PDF, you want to look for any option that says save it as a reduced PDF file. That's going to be different on every scanner. I can't tell you how to find that, but just look for it if you can, because more than likely your PDF will come in a very large size and it will be too big to upload back to the signing service. There again, smallpdf.com is a service where you can compress files. And if you have Adobe Acrobat Pro, you can compress files in that software as well. But if you don't have that, your scanner should be able to save in a reduced file manner. So those are 2 things that I want you to know and know like the back of your hand before you get your first signings. Otherwise, you will be flustered to no end. And sign-in services typically want the scan backs within the next 2 hours or the 2 hours after you sign. Okay, they're waiting on these documents to get this loan closed and funded. So they need you to get this stuff back. And if you're fumbling around with your machinery, that could be your reputation. So those are the first 2 things, all right, that I want you to know before you go on your first appointment. The next thing I want you to know is that if you work a full-time job and you work remote like I do, you want to make sure that you are not just in average lounge around your house clothes. You want to make sure that you have already showered for the day, or you have, you have on something that you can quickly change out of and into professional clothes in the event that you get a signing. Sometimes these signings are not well in advance for you. And in my case, it was 30 minutes, 45 minutes out. So I was getting ready to cook dinner. I typically take my shower at night. And so I was just in my everyday, regular lounge around the house clothes when I got this. Thankfully, I was able to get cleaned up and change my clothes while the documents were printing. But from now on, I will be getting dressed every morning ready to go. Because if I get a signing and it's during my lunch hour, I want to be able to get out there and go and not have to scramble. So that's another thing. The next thing I want you to know is that you need to make sure your phone is charged at all times. I actually have 2 phones. One phone is for business. The other phone is personal. My business phone was not charged. Why? Because I hadn't been getting any signings, so I was just willy-nilly with it. And when I got there, I needed to take pictures of IDs and things like that, and my phone was low on juice. Thankfully, it made it, but that had me a little bit nervous. So you want to make sure that all your stuff is charged up. and all of your things are ready to go. I have a pouch where I have my stamp in there. I have the ink pens in there. I have a stapler in there. I have a folder here. Oh no, it's in that bag. I have a folder with extra loose certificates. You want to make sure you have all that stuff ready to go. So when you get your signing, again, you're printing your documents, you're reviewing them, making sure if you want to add your signing sticker or your sign here stickers, you can do that, and then you're getting out of here. So yes, those are two other tips that I wanted to give you. Make sure that you're ready to go during the day. You want to confirm the appointment details as soon as possible. So as soon as you get word that you have received that signing, it has been assigned to you, you want to contact the signer, the borrower, and you want to confirm the appointment right away. If there's any issues with the appointment time or the day, you want to give a call back to the escrow agent so that they know what is going on. They will want to know what's going on at every step of the way, okay? You want to also make sure that you map the location as soon as you get the address, because you need to have a general idea of how long it's going to take you to get there. Now, if they give it to you like they did me, they have an idea of how far that signing is from me because they have my address and they have her address. So they know roughly where I am in relation to that borrower. But you want to make sure you do it for yourself, because if there's traffic, if there's anything going on, you want to be able to call them back and say, hey, I just checked the map. It looks like there's an accident here or there, and this is how long it's going to take me to get there. May not be a problem, but you want to just make sure you keep everybody advised, okay? You want to allow for about 2 hours for your very first signing, okay? Like I said, it took me about 2 hours, and that's because I still need to find my rhythm. I know a lot of these forms already, as I stated in previous videos, because I've been in the property management and real estate industry for some time, but I've never had to just, do my spiel, right? So you want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to get through your first signing. If in the event you get more than one during that first day that you're out there, you want to make sure you have enough time. All right. You want to read all of the instructions that they sent you. They typically send an email. There was notes in the system, in the signing service system, that I read through really briefly, the email, and then I got a phone call from the signing agent or from the escrow agent on my way there. So I was able to ask a few questions that I had right off the bat. I also had her phone number, and I was able to send a text and ask a couple of questions that way before I got in there. Things that you're looking for is whether or not you need to scan back, what the ink color is. In my case, I needed witnesses, and I needed to know that one witness could not be your relative. So one witness had to be a non-relative. So those are things, whether or not you need to put, whether or not the documents need to be in order. I've seen some agents say they don't bother to put them back in order. Some agents live by putting it in order. I had taken it out of order so that I made sure that certain documents got signed first, like the Patriot Act, where I review their ID, because if their ID is not good, then signing everything else is off for nothing. If I sign everything and get to the end and I find out they don't have good IDs. So as soon as I walked in, I took a picture of their ID because it was requested that they have a copy of their ID, and they said a photo was acceptable. And then I completed the Patriot Act forms so that I made sure that I had all of the information off of their ID and they can put their IDs away. So that kind of information you want to be looking out for. And then you want to make sure, like I said, that you're printing and preparing the docs according to the paper size. You can use sticky notes. You cannot use highlighters. You should not be changing dates or names or any information on any of the documents unless you get permission first. I said no highlighter already. If you need to make a change on the notarial certificate, you may do that because that notarial certificate is yours. You are the notary and it's your commission. So if there's a mistake or if there's language missing on the notarial certificate, like in my case, there was one or two, I think, notarial certificates that did not include what type of ID was produced. I had to write that on there. So you want to make sure that all of the points of Florida's notary laws are being hit. And I actually have a printout of that I keep generally up there, but I'm getting ready to move that. But you need the venue, the signer's name, the description of the notarial act. So does it state in there whether it's a acknowledgement or this person acknowledged before me, or this person swear and affirm? That's a jurat. So that has to be there. The date of the act has to be there. The notary's printed name has to be there. That was another thing that was missing on the certificates that I had. There was no line for my printed name. So underneath my signature, I printed my name there because the state of Florida says it should be there. So just because you don't see it does not mean you don't add it. The notary signature, the method of identification, whether it's personal knowledge or they produced ID, that needs to be on there. And if they produced ID, what type of ID did they produce? Driver's license, passport, military ID, whatever, state issued ID, that needs to be on there. And then your seal has to be on there. And you want to make sure your seal stamps clearly and legibly. And if it does not, then do another stamp in another area. If it doesn't come through clearly, just if there's more room, just do another stamp there. So that's that. What else do I have for you guys on my first signing? I was very excited, and I will say again, this is not a race. It is a marathon. This business, things can happen fast for you, but what you need to know is that you need to prepare. Everything in this industry I'm finding is about being prepared. You want to make sure you know what you know when you know it. And that only comes from going through the documentation, the loan signing course that you took, going back over that information, purchasing additional information. I got this book here, the loan document source book. In this book, they go over each and every form in each and every kind of loan signing there is. They got HELOC, they got refinance, they got reverse mortgage, they got sale and purchase transactions, they got common agent signing forms, and I thought they had commercial. No, I guess not. But every other kind of, yeah, they do have commercial. So every kind of form that you will need to know about is in this book. And this book is well worth the investment. Okay. So, because it gives you an idea of where someone needs to sign and what you should be looking for. Another thing I want to point out is that I watched a video where they talked about they don't like to give new agents reverse mortgages. So because it's a more tricky type of signing to do. So you want to know your stuff. You want to know it. So that's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions for me, drop it down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you. We're building together. So I want you to build as I build, and we'll keep going down this journey. And who knows where we'll end up in the end. So again, please like this video, comment on the video, and subscribe. Please share if you would like to, but you know, it's kind of a specific video, but share if you know any other notaries that need information, especially in the state of Florida. But more than that, please subscribe. I have more information and more videos coming for you. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Ayana from the Crafty Notary. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.